Liverpool's game against Leeds was the third straight game Mo Salah did not start, and that seemed to be the last straw for the reigning Premier League Player of the Season, who completely crashed out after the game. After the 3-3 draw at Ellen Road, Salah entertained a post-match interview where he had a lot to say about his current relationship with Arne Slot and the club, and also hinted on his future. All of this, along with his actions towards the fans after that game, have got everyone asking the big question: could this be the end of Mo Salah at Liverpool? It's no news that Liverpool are going through an utter crisis this season. They started the season brilliantly and everyone thought we were in for a magical title defense, but they fell off along the way and have not been able to recover since. They just keep losing and losing. They're losing at home, losing away, losing in the Premier League, losing in the Champions League, losing in the EFL Cup, just losing everywhere. And of course, seeing that they spent over £500 million to assemble what seemed like an unbeatable team in the summer, this has come as an even bigger shock to everyone. In trying to salvage this, Arne Slot has tried a lot of things. He has tried different formations and shuffled personnels all across the pitch, and that has seen a lot of first-team players having to sit on the bench for some games, especially those in the attack. Ekitike, Wirtz, Isak, Gakpo, and of course Salah have all had to sit on the bench in some pretty important games. But no one seems to have had it as bad as Salah. He has been on the bench at the beginning of 5 games across the Premier League and Champions League this season, and that includes the last 3 Premier League games. And in 2 of those games, he didn't even come off the bench at all. You know what makes this worse? Salah's exclusion has done nothing to improve Liverpool's form. Liverpool have won just 2 of the 5 games Salah didn't start, so it's hard to say he's the problem. Also, even in this season where everybody has been underperforming, Salah has still come up with 8 goal contributions in his 15 starts for Liverpool, making him the club's second highest goal scorer this season behind just Hugo Ekitike. So why then does it feel like Salah is being scapegoated and punished for the team's bad performances? And you'd have thought that if there was one person on the team that the coach, the club and the fans would be patient with, it'd be Mo Salah, after all he has done for the club since he came in, and especially what he did last season. This is a legend of the club through and through. You might say that the coach doesn't have to pick his team based on reputation, but this is a player who has earned his place in the first team no matter what. He didn't just ask for it, he worked for it. And these were the points Salah was trying to make in his interview. He wasn't trying to say that he was better than anybody on the team. He just felt that after all he has done for the club over the years, he deserves better than to be treated like he's the problem and the reason for the club's current failures. And it appears that Slot has not even tried to explain to Salah why he's doing any of this. Because in that interview, Mo Salah said he used to have a good relationship with the coach, but now they have no relationship at all. Crazy, isn't it? And that interview got even more sinister when Salah said he's just going to go into the Brighton game and enjoy every bit of it with the fans, whether he's on the pitch on the bench or just in the stands. Now, for context, the home game against Brighton on the 13th is the last match before Salah has to leave to represent Egypt at the Africa Cup of Nations. But is it also going to be the last time we'll ever see Salah as a Liverpool player? You see, at the end of the Leeds game, Salah went around the away section clapping and waving to the Liverpool fans, and a lot of supporters who were in attendance said it felt so much like a farewell. So, could this really be the end for the Egyptian king at Anfield? The painful answer is yes, it could be. Everything that's happening right now feels like déjà vu, as it looks exactly like what happened to Cristiano Ronaldo in 2022. Amidst bad results, the coach decided to relegate a club legend to the bench without any real explanation, and the legend felt disrespected by that. The legend gave a scathing interview expressing his feelings about the whole situation, went for an international tournament mid-season, and just never returned to the club again. Could this really be Mohamed Salah this time around? Remember, before he went on to have a mind-blowing run last season, he seemed to actually be on his way out of Liverpool and reportedly close to a move to Saudi Arabia. But he did what he did in the 2024-25 season, and the club was basically forced to give him a new contract. Now that it seems like relationships have been broken, you won't put it past the club to now want to move on from him. Liverpool is one team that doesn't really fancy paying huge amounts to players in wages, so getting Salah's £400,000 per week wage off the books would surely be a huge motivation to let him go in January. They surely could not let him go in the summer because the fans would have been on their necks for letting a Ballon d'Or level player walk away, which is why they had no other option than to give him an improved contract. But in this scenario, they can easily justify selling him or terminating his contract by blaming it all on the player's behaviour in front of the press. Also, being from the Middle East himself, Salah might really fancy a move to Saudi Arabia, where he may be made the face of the league. Remember, the AFCON will be happening in Morocco. We won't be surprised if some representatives from Saudi Arabian clubs appear at the tournament to try and sway Salah with some mouth-watering deals. Then again, he's only just 33 years old and was playing at an unbelievable level just a few months back. He could maybe fancy joining another top European club just to prove to Liverpool that he can still do it at the topmost level and that he was never the problem. So, looking at the full picture, it just feels like this is the end of the road for Salah at Liverpool. I mean, for him to come out and say all he said, he must have made up his mind that there's no way back. But hey, there's always a way back. The club still has the power to make some big decisions that will win Salah back completely. They could sack Arne Slot and maybe restore Jurgen Klopp, even if on a temporary basis, and that would almost certainly fix everything. Heck, even if they don't rehire Klopp, sacking Slot alone could do the trick. In a recent video, we talked about how clubs are often put in positions where they have to choose between a coach and a player. This might be one of those situations. If they sack the coach, they're pretty much telling Salah that they've chosen him, and that would almost certainly make him commit his future to the club. But how realistic is this? The club just showed massive faith in Slot by giving him over £500 million to spend in one summer. Will they really be willing to sack that same coach just 6 months later? But then again, the reality is that he's been underperforming this season, and it has been discussed that he's under some pressure. So sacking him could just be killing two birds with one stone. They find a solution to the poor results and they get to keep their best player. Also, Liverpool might want to learn from Man United's mistake. United chose a coach over their legend only to end up sacking that coach about a year later because, as it turned out, the player was never the problem and the coach was unable to fix the mess the club was in. Well, long story short, these are very important weeks for Liverpool. They will need to make a very big decision before the end of the year, and none of the options are completely glamorous. But one thing is sure, whether this is the end of Mohamed Salah at Liverpool almost entirely depends on the decision they make. Will they choose to put their faith in the coach and cut the player off? Will they stand with Salah and sack Slot? Or is there a completely different resolution coming that we haven't even thought of yet? Get in the comments and tell us what you think. And while you're there, we'll like to see you attempt to give a one-word answer to the big question: is this the end of Mo Salah at Liverpool? Catch you in the next one. Bye.